Mega?
You have lost the lead.
He got the kill. And Raph is up 1-0, grabs the red. And he's aware that the screw is close. Damn, Raph up 2-0 pretty quickly. And Walter going for the gauntlet.
Yo, sorry about that. I just have to make sure that the stream is actually not lagging. I hope that fixed it. I don't really know what I did, but it seems to have fixed it. But Raph is actually leading 4-0 on the 2-minute mark in this first half. So what have you noticed so far in this game? I mean, Raph is obviously in control, but what have you noticed from Walter?
Well, Walter made a pretty big mistake earlier. He didn't grab the Mega, which he should have had, and Raph capitalized and got the first frag, and he's converted 3 more frags since then, and he's just been in control. Walter's, I mean, he's playing pretty aggressive right now, and he gave up a few frags. I mean, 4-0 in 2 minutes is not something you really see on the M13.
Alright, so Raph is actually just
really early for red. He dropped down. He's got to go through the teleporter again, and he's gonna. Oh, he gets away, and he's gonna grab this red, but he's only got 18 health and no 50 up right now.
And Rafa knows that he's down there, I think, and he's just gonna spam some nades. He's not gonna wait around for it, because if he does wait, he could have picked up the frag right there, but decides not to. He's just gonna, you know, close down on the rest of the map, take all the yellows, so Walter's gonna be stuck with that red armor. Now, did he pick up that 50 health? Eventually he did. He made his way out, but unfortunately jumps into the central area of the map, right into Rafa's shaft. And that means that he's probably going to lose out on the red. He's going to wait and try to do some damage onto Rafa when he comes out, but I don't think that's going to work. Rafa probably rocket jumped out of there. And Rafa has a very precise timing on the Mega Health, so he's able to make it back. And Rafa's, you know, taking control of the map pretty firmly. Walter once again deciding to drop down for it very early. And is eventually forced to leave.
I think he wanted that 50 more than anything.
Yeah.
But that red armor is up. It looks like Raph is content with leaving that red armor up and just keeping Mega and the yellow armors.
Oh, nice read from Rafa there. Expecting Walter to rocket jump out. I mean, obviously he did only a little bit of splash damage, but it still took Walter by surprise, and Walter, I don't think he's going to be in a position to push for this red. He does do a little bit of damage onto Rafa though, so that means that Rafa's not going to have any armor, and that rocket jump also took a lot away from his Mega Health stack. So if Walter hits a couple of nice rockets here, he might be able to find a frag. Bit of a mistake from Rafa, getting trapped in that corner. Oh wow, so lucky.
That's an unfortunate spawn
for
Walter.
So lucky for Rafa to get that spawn right on that red armor, and if I were Walter, I'd be fucking raged.
I'm not sure Walter knows and/or cares that Rafa got that armor. This is a good spawn for Walter. He'll be able to grab this Mega Health cleanly and then down for the red, so he's going to have a really good stack, and he might be able to get himself back into this with 5 minutes left to go.
Right. And still plenty of time for Walter. Does a good amount of damage with that LG. He's probably going to be able to deny this yellow. Didn't land that rocket, which kind of needed to, and Rafa takes him by surprise a little bit as well. So Walter definitely, stacks are not that uneven now, so Walter needs to be careful. He needs to make sure that he gets that red armor. And nice move by Walter here, trapping Rafa in that corridor, getting the frag before the red armor pops up, and maintaining position on the center area of the map to make sure that Rafa's not able to push for the red or the Mega. Now, is Rafa going to take that risk and jump for the Mega? That's the question. He decides not to risk it.
He's definitely not. I mean, if he does that, he could give up that frag and another one, and he'd be out of the lead.
Right, so Rafa's going to play it a little bit cautiously, which means that Walter is going to be in control. Unfortunate for Walter that he didn't land the rocket, and Rafa actually did a lot of damage onto him as well. So all that stack that Walter had is gone, although I think some of that damage was dealt by himself. So I'm not sure if Rafa actually has a good read on Walter's health right now. I think Rafa might be estimating Walter's health, and therefore might be playing a little too defensive. Good LG damage from Rafa, though, means that he can bully Walter off of that mega health.
Wow.
He does take a rocket in return, but it's not enough for Rafa to die. So Walter certainly misjudging that situation. Didn't expect that to happen. Does get a reasonably lucky spawn and might be able to do a ton of damage onto Rafa with the shotgun. Mutual kill there. So at the very least, certainly still hope for Walter to come back on this map. Ooh, aggressive rocket jump. I mean, he's going to take a lot of damage. You think that's a sign of Walter just giving up, or was he really expecting a frag on that rocket jump?
I think he's a little frustrated about what happened. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, until that unfortunate situation, he's been playing pretty well. He's got Rafa down to 30 health, 4 HP. Oh. They trade frags.
Yeah, they trade
it's
frags.
Probably
4
for the best
frags to go, and with only 3 minutes left, you know, there's only so many frags you can give up in such silly manner before the game is pretty much over. And he's just pushing into Rafa very aggressively. And even though Rafa only has a shotgun, Walter's just not. I don't think he hit a single one of those 8 rocket shots he took there.
Red armor's up right now, and Walter grabs it, but he fails the rocket jump.
Let's switch over to Walter and see what he's doing right now.
Walter's the type of player that, I mean, he could get 5 frags in 2.5 minutes on this map, but I don't see it happening right now. Rafa's doing a good job of trading damage. That's what's, I mean, every time Walter gets a frag, you know, Rafa gets a frag. They're trading frags, and you can't do that when you're behind. You have to get clean frags, and you got to be in control, and that's not happening for Walter right now.
Certainly isn't, and he's trying to do some damage onto Rafa, who's just waiting for that red armor. Eventually, Rafa just decides to leave that area, does the rocket jump, nice one though, and find some health for himself. With only 2 minutes remaining, I'm going to call a good game here, because I really don't see Walter in his current form coming back.
No, I'll give Walter props. This is one of Rafa's better maps. He did pretty well sticking with Rafa. I mean, he was controlling the map. He had control for a while, so I mean, it definitely speaks volumes about what could happen in, you know, the next map, which will be Walter's pick, which is ZTN, if I remember correctly.
Alright, so we have about 90 seconds left in this first map of the grand finals between Walter and Rafa. Rafa is doing a solid job, knowing that he has a 6-point lead, knowing he really doesn't need to do anything spectacular. Oh yeah, the machine gun, he's going to finish off Walter with the machine gun, I think. And eventually does end up dropping for the red armor before that frag can happen.
1 minute warning.
And Walter right now, you know, he's just running around, he's not even really caring about the result of this map. Hopefully we're going to see a better performance from him on the next map, which, as Nutty Bro said, is, we think, going to be ZTN.
Well, shit at the fan, my prediction's already
gone down the drain, bro.
That's what you get for going bold.
Now that's pretty much what you get for making any predictions. They're always going to go wrong. Unless you're CSN, in which case they're all right every time. Yeah, we do see some questions from the viewers. This is a best of 5 final, so it is certainly possible that we could see all 5 maps, although I would say unlikely.
The score might say 11-2, but honestly the game was much closer than that.
Yeah, but at the same time, we kind of saw Walter just give up after giving up a couple of frags, and really his heart didn't seem to be in it. You know, he didn't really look like he wanted to make a contest out of it. So that was the the first map of the grand finals, 11-2, the final score on DM13. And moving on to ZTN, which is going to be Walter's map pick, unless we are mistaken. That should be an interesting game. You know, Walter has been hitting his rails reasonably okay on this particular tournament. So at least that should be interesting to see if Walter is going to connect with that railgun, and just to see if he's going to make a contest out of this map. He actually straight away readies up. He doesn't even wait. He's in the server, hits F3 immediately. I don't really know what to read into it. I'm just stating it out there.
Ready to get that last map behind him.
Yeah. So we are, without further delay, going into ZTN.
This is going to be close, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to be following Walter off the spawn. He actually gets the upper yellow spawn. He gets the red. Presumably Rafa got the mega and the lower yellow, and he does a little bit of damage onto Walter with that LG. Walter doesn't manage to do any damage in return, so stacks pretty even right now. Nobody really having an advantage. Rafa does not have a rocket launcher.
Rafa's got the advantage. I mean, he melted down that whole red armor. It's 90-70 versus 175-60. Walter's on the back foot right now. He's got this red though, so it's going to keep it close.
He's got position on the mega, so he doesn't really need to take his fight. He can just jump back for the mega. But I think he thinks that Rafa's a little bit weaker than he actually is, so... Oh my god, that's a bit of a mistake from Walter. He might make up for it with his railguns. Oh, unfortunate not to connect with Rafa before he picked up that mega health. That mega health enabling Rafa to stay alive. Oh wow, backs into a grenade. Dodged it the first time around, but the second dodge movement took him straight into the path of that grenade. Which is what's going to give Rafa the first frag. 1-0, 1 minute gone.
I think this is going to be like one of the biggest moments in the game. If Walter gives up another frag right here too soon, he might just go, you know, just go berserk and start giving up a lot of frags.
Rafa's got him cornered, and this should be a frag, especially if Rafa pulls out the railgun. He doesn't even need to because Walter was really, really weak. Now this is going to leave Walter in a really, really bad spot. Rafa heard him spawn at the upper rocket launcher side as well. He's able to steal the red armor, so that's good for him. He does land a good rocket onto Rafa as well. Unfortunate not to land that exit rail. That makes that two rails in a row missed by Walter, which he could really have used because Rafa's stack has stayed high. And that means that Walter's not going to be in any position to take like a direct confrontation. I don't think he's going to push for this red. That would be a mistake, I feel.
I think he's going to try to play image on it. Rafa's not even going to go for it. He's going to trap it himself and grab the mega.
But that was a good move on Rafa's part because not only did he land a good rocket onto Walter, he also landed an exit rail, which means that that red is not really going to help Walter that much at all. He has himself cornered by Rafa at the upper yellow room, lands a lot of rocket damage, and does take Rafa really weak.
I think that was a great fight for Walter. He melted that whole stack.
Yeah, but now he needs to hit a rail. Right now. He needs to hit a rail if Rafa does decide to go for the red. Rafa doesn't, which leaves Walter with the red. And this is not a fight that Rafa wants to take. That 50 is not going to be up for him because he himself picked it out about 15 seconds back. And if Walter puts it in, this is going to be a frag for Walter. So pretty intelligent play from Walter to put himself back on the scoreboard. And he should be able to defend this red armor. He does drop down,
and Rafa's there. He's going to grab it.
I don't know why he decided to drop down. That was a sort of bold move. He's not able to do any damage with the rail either.
I don't think he expected Rafa to contend for the red like that, but he didn't know Rafa had the rocket launcher spawn, so...
Yeah, but even so, I have to say I question that decision. He should just have played it cautious and stayed for the red instead of dropping down for the shards, which are actually useless anyway. But having said that, he does have a decent stack, and he does pick up the next red.
Yeah, he's up to 200
now, so switching over to Rafa, let's see what he's on. He has the 200 stack in armor as well, but the difference is the mega health. And that's not going to be that much of a difference, especially if Rafa lands the initial rockets. But neither player not really sure about the other position, the other player's position right now. So Rafa is actually the one who first lands the rail, which means that the advantage that Walter had in terms of the angle is going to be negated. Walter dropping down.
I don't like this fight at all.
Yeah. He still managed to do a lot of damage, but eventually does give up the frag. And off of that spawn, I don't think he's going to be able to challenge for the red either. So that was a little bit of a mistake from Walter there. And Rafa once again not even going to bother going for that red, knowing that Walter's down there waiting with the rail. And just really intelligent play from Rafa, just going around picking up the other yellows before he goes back for the red. And he has time on the Mega as well. Beautiful rail coming out. So that makes it all the yellows for Rafa, right? I don't think Walter's had a yellow in the last cycle either.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, and right now Rafa's just in form control. Still only a 5 frag advantage, and he's lost most of his armor. He's gonna make it for that with the red armor pickup, and Walter's not able to do any damage on that pickup either. So it's gonna be a very tricky position for Walter to be in. You know, barring some sort of major Walter miracle, you know, just going aggressive and landing a lot of damage onto Rafa and getting a frag, I really don't see any way for Walter to break this stronghold that Rafa's made of just running all these items in a cycle. And he's trying to spam the Mega Health spot, making sure that Rafa's not in a position to rail him when he goes for the red. So he's successful in taking the red. Now, can he make something out of it? That is the question. Now I'm going to switch over to Walter, see what he does with this huge stack he has. Stack-wise, the difference is just the Mega Health, and most of it would have melted away with that railgun that Walter landed on Rafa. The Mega Health and the red armor, the next cycle is going to be at the same time, and Rafa does take the red, but he takes a lot of damage in return. And one more rail will take Walter down. Oh, I guess he didn't take it the first time around. That was kind of interesting. Hey, Nutty, you still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Walter just trying to trap Rafa as much as he can. He's sitting on 70 armor, which is not that much. And Rafa's actually got more armor as well. But Rafa seems to be happy playing defense right now. 3.5 minutes left to go. 5 frags for Walter to make up if he isn't to lose this second map in a row. And
the thing that's happening right now is Rafa is just, I mean, before every fight, I mean, Rafa hit a rail, and I mean, Walter will have the stack, but Rafa just keeps hitting his shots, like bam, right there, rail, but Walter lands a nice rail right there, but Rafa's getting the initial damage in these fights, and that's what's causing him to win them.
Yeah, and Walter's still managing to do a lot of damage, but just not enough to take Rafa down. And both players relatively weak. Rafa sitting on 126 total health and armor points. Walter did pick up the Mega Health, and Rafa just heard him rocket jump up to that grenade platform and is going to back away into the teleport area. He's not going to take the teleport himself because he knows that Walter could have backed into the tele exit side. Now that does leave Walter with the red.
Walter's got to make something happen right here. He's got the clear advantage with the stack.
Yeah, but with Rafa playing defensive like this, it's going to be really, really tough. Now he does
nice
stand a
rail
rail
teleporter.
But it looks like Rafa has timing on the red, and it's Rafa who lands the rail that he needed to, which means that Walter's going to be forced to fall back onto the Mega Health. Oh, Walter does catch Rafa at the tele exit. Lands a good number of rockets, and Rafa's really, really weak, but still, this is going to be touch and go, and Rafa left with 12 health. HP. Yeah, that's going to be a good game, really. 7-1, I really don't see Walter making anything happen after that frag. So it looks like Rafa's definitely going to go 2 frags, or rather 2 maps up against Walter. And do you remember what the third map is going to be?
T4, if I remember correctly. Which would be interesting, because they're both hitting really good rail shots right now. Rafa is just getting the better of these fights right now. I mean, as far as stacks go, they've been pretty even, but Rafa he seems to be putting out more damage.
Yeah, and I have to say, Rafa's playing some good defense here. And he seems to be content playing defense as well, which is normally something you don't necessarily see out of him when he's enjoying like a 7-frag lead. You typically don't see Rafa doing this defensive, but he's just maintaining his position beautifully, making sure that, as you said, you know, all the frags that he got because he did the initial damage onto Walter before the actual confrontation. And that's been something of the theme throughout this particular map. And he successfully managed to ward off any sort of attack that Walter was trying to maintain on him. Like right there, you know, Walter is able to do a little bit of damage onto Rafa. Every time after the fight, he's down to about 50 or 60 health. But it's just that he's maintained a safe position. We have about 20 seconds left on this map. The second map, ZTN, between Rafa and Walter in this grand final. And Walter's actually able to find one more frag before Rafa shuts it down. And that's going to be good games from both players on the second map. 12-2 is the final score. Double-digit advantage for Rafa again. And Cord says, calm your ass down. I'm presuming that he means Walter, but then again, Walter can't see it, right?
I have no idea who the hell he's talking to be honest. But,
yeah.
There's really nothing you can do when Raf is hitting the same or a little bit better LG, and I mean, he was just getting the better of the fights there. With Rafa, I mean, if his aim's on and with his control and his timing and everything else, it's nearly impossible to beat something like that.
All right, so we are going to move into the third map, which is in fact going to be 24, aka Vertical Vengeance. And this could possibly be the last map in this grand final between Walter and Rafa. Walter needs to win this to stay alive in the final, but at this point, I really don't think he cares that much because I think he's got enough points to go into the playoff bracket. But still, he should hopefully make a fight out of it.
He's got $20.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. And off the spawn, I am going to be following Walter, who gets the spawn on the other side off the Mega and the Rail. And Rafa is actually going to take him down immediately. 1-0 advantage Rafa, straight off the initial spawns. Rafa does pick up the Rail, but he's pretty weak himself. All that Mega health that he picked up is going to be worn off by the damage that Walter has done. And Walter spams a nice rocket, gets that initial frag. So 2-1 is the score. Quick 3 frags at the start of the game. And Walter immediately hitting a couple of rails as well. So
that other yellow's been sitting up the entire time so far. Finally, I was gonna say Rafa almost grabbed it, but he missed that yellow armor. That was kind of a mistake on his part.
Yeah, now that Walter has the other yellow as well, and he's going to deny the rail to Rafa for another 15 seconds, which means that Walter is going to be in the driving position as long as he can find some health, which is what he desperately needs. He's sitting on 46, picks up the 5 bubbles, so that means that his health is going to be relatively, you know, he's going to be okay at least, but he's not going to be in a position to challenge for that higher yellow. But what he has
Rafa's
done...
really hurting for that rail right now. You can see he hasn't been able to put any damage on Walter, and he needs that rail, and Walter's doing a really good job at denying that so far.
Now
and
Walter's
still
running low on rocket ammo. Now he knows exactly where Rafa is, and Walter's doing a good job of just staying patient. He's not pushing in unnecessarily. He's not taking risks like we are used to seeing him take. He should know that the rail is back up by now, so he might just drop down and take that rail once again. Now what is Rafa doing to try to find his way to the rail? Switching over to Rafa, sitting on 100, is able to probably defend this area and probably take that yellow. I don't think Walter can keep him off the rail now. Walter does land a single good rail, and Rafa is still being very, very cautious and going for it. Finally picks himself up a rail, but does take a rail shot in his back for his troubles. And is Walter going to be able to pick up his Mega? Takes a rail to the face, and I think he dropped off of it, and oh, nice job by Rafa finishing him off with a shotgun.
That was sick. He railed him right off of that Mega.
You have taken the lead.
And now that he has the lead, let's see how good a job Rafa does of keeping that rail off of Walter. Straight away, I think Walter already picked it up. So
no, he doesn't have it. But it should be up right now. He grabs it. But he is railable himself, so it doesn't even matter. Rafa takes him down.
Yeah, 5-3 the score. We've got about 7 minutes left to go, and once again, Rafa's just set himself up to deny the rail as much as possible. And he knows that the other yellow's up. Does a good rail shot onto Walter as well. So in spite of the fact that he gave up that yellow, it's not going to matter too much. And what Rafa is focusing on, as you can obviously see, is keeping that rail out of Walter's hands. Oh, missed that rail though. That was surprising, considering that he had perfect read on Walter's position. Does land one at the mega health area, so that's going to be really bad for Walter. Finishes him off with another rail. Quickly checking accuracies, Rafa sitting on 50%, which, considering the amount of rail shots that he's taken, is quite decent. Oh, beautiful rail again. And if this slew of rails continue by Walter, or rather Rafa, Walter's going to be in pretty big trouble. So I'm kind of curious about what you think of Walter's style on this map. What I would say is that Walter's slightly different from someone like Rafa or 04. And we see that Rafa and 04 are really good on this map, not just because of their rail accuracies. They also do a lot of really smart spam damage with the rockets. But I don't really see the same thing happening out of Walter.
Walter plays a lot of angles, but it's for the rail, whereas Rafa, you know, 04, they like to cut angles, but with the rocket launcher.
Exactly.
Well, that's not to say that you know, they can't rail those same angles. They just, you know, prefer the rocket launcher.
Right. And the advantage, obviously, is that if your rail doesn't happen to be on any given day, the skill that you have with spam rockets and cutting off angles is going to stand you in good stead. Which I think is what makes them, you know, one tier above Walter on this map, in my opinion. And, you know, if they're hitting the same rail or better than Walter, it makes them, you know, pretty much impossible to beat. I mean, right now, Raph is hitting 66 rail accuracy. I mean, it's going to be really difficult for Walter to come back and beat something like that. No, there is still only 7 frags in it, so it's certainly not impossible with 5 minutes remaining on this map, but just the way that Raph is playing this out, it just doesn't look like he's going to let go. And Walter's railable, and there is no health up right now at all. And he's waiting on this yellow, but he does get it, but he's still railable. And Rafa knows he's hurting, and he's taking HP. He's damaging himself on purpose so he can take the yellows. They're the yellow 25s. Yeah, switching over to Walter, sitting on 47, finally able to find his way to the Plasma 25 bubble, so he's not going to be railable anymore. He still doesn't have enough to survive 2 rails though, so this next mega up in 20 seconds is going to be really crucial. Yeah, that's, I figure the next 20 or 30 seconds, maybe the first frag after that mega is going to determine whether Walter's going to be able to come back or not. But he does land 1 rail onto Rafa, and he's going to go straight back into that tele exit area. 4 seconds to the mega health, and Rafa's going to just try to bully Walter out of it. Oh my god, that's so unfortunate. He slides down off of that platform because of a rocket shot from Rafa, which means that he's not going to be able to get that mega health. And switching over to Rafa, he has 112 health, 10 armor, so at least in terms of armor stack, he's not too bad off as Walter, but still, you know, he really needed, he could have used that mega health quite a lot. So both players relatively weak, and the next frag is probably going to be determined by who is able to set the trap. Walter was trying to set one at the upper rocket launcher area, not able to do so, revealing himself a little bit too early, and Rafa just decides to boogie out of that area. Walter challenges yellow. It's not going to get any damage on it. Oh, he does get the rail. Now Rafa is railable. Nice direct rocket. Well. Oh, Rafa trying to do as much damage before he dies as he can. Does land a little bit of shotgun damage, but Walter finally able to find the frag. Now Walter needs to hit some rails pretty quickly, and he doesn't really need to prioritize his yellow. As long as he lands some damage onto Rafa, he can actually afford to give it up. And Rafa at the same hand, he's just trying to land some rockets onto Walter. Does pick up the yellow, which is going to help him out a little bit. But at this point, really, the yellows, I would say, almost don't even really matter that much. Now this is Rafa's game right here, just playing angles with the rocket launcher. And Walter realizes what's happening and he gets out of there. But
Rafa just ran a sick vertical rail, and really there's nothing Walter can do about that one.
And you can see, you know, even though he can actually go down for that yellow or the rail, he doesn't really do so immediately because he knows that staying high is a priority for him. He needs to just stay high, make sure that Walter doesn't get that rail. Although eventually Walter does find it, and Rafa's not able to do any damage on it. But he's in position for the Mega, which is the important item up on the map right now. Sitting on 100 stack, the yellows really don't benefit Rafa that much, and I have a feeling that Walter is probably going to go call good game here, because making up 8 frags in a minute and a half is going to be next to impossible, if not outright impossible. So it looks like Rafa is going to take this grand final 3 maps to nothing, so neither of our predictions come true, my friend. Something that you're going to get used to if you keep casting with me.
I'll get better at it. I'm just happy that Walter actually played out the entire final. It's nice to see him playing the whole thing.
You know, it's almost as if he, in spite of the fact that he could have quitted at any time, the fact that
because I'm casting, kick his ass.
No, I was just actually going to say that there's really nothing riding on this final, right? He's already made it to the playoffs, and it's almost as if because he doesn't care, he's okay with losing, and he's not ready.
He's always enjoyed playing against Rafa. I mean, they're friends, so I mean it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to mention is one of the most underutilized things on this map is the shotgun, and Rafa has done quite a bit of damage with it throughout this game in key situations. I mean, if you look at shotgun damage, I mean, Rafa's got 700. 41% of his damage was through the shotgun, whereas you know Walter has 0 shotgun damage. It's really underutilized, and Rafa does a really good job with it.
You know, I'm allergic to the shotgun. There's no weapon in QUAKELIVE I hate more than the shotgun.
I'm crap with plasma, and for some reason I'll have just a really good shotgun, you know, lined up, and then I'll just jerk my mouse and miss every single bullet.
But I don't know, I just feel like the shotgun is kind of too easy, and it just does way too much damage, especially on this map, really. So I really hate it. But I get your point, though. I mean, I think it is a very effective weapon to use on Tourney 4. So.
Yeah, definitely effective and definitely underutilized, in my opinion.
Yeah, so anyway, that was the grand finals between Rafa and Walter in this Points Cup number 4. And we've wrapped things up pretty much. I'm not sure if we're going to stream the third place finals or third place game, actually. So before we leave, what I would like to do is have an updated points standings so we know that who exactly is going to be playing in the final bracket. Let's see if we can find those point standings. If someone can actually find a link for me, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I've got one for you.
Lazy as hell.
I'll send it to you in QL. There you go. I mean, it's not totally up to date as far as Cup 4 goes, but those are going to be the top 8, so I don't think Walter is moving anywhere. And the only people that could possibly switch is I don't even know. Clown can't even pass court, so that's the final standing as far as I can tell.
All right, I've got that up on screen for you guys. So the top 8 are going to be Rafa, Ray, Cord, Clown, Walter, 04, Undertaker 12, and Okie Dokie. Kuru actually narrowly missing out. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah. At least I'm in there.
You're in there. You're in the top 13, dude.
You're
in the lucky spot. You were number 13.
I would have had it. I mean, I would have made top 8, but unfortunately, I missed the first 2 cups. So.
Yeah. You know, I almost wish someone else would do the streaming and casting, because I would really play in these tournaments. But anyway.
Unfortunately, Demon didn't play in any more of the cups.
I know, that's kind of sad. I mean, he got 24 points out of just 1 cup, man. All he needed to do was play in 1 more, and I'm pretty sure he would have been in there in the top 8. But again, as you know, he has been playing the European CTF tournaments, which are happening on the exact same days. So I think he might have decided that that's just too much to play on Sunday, because you know every time Demon gets to the finals as well, I think. Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Does he play CTF?
Yeah, I believe he does. I believe he plays CTF, and he plays the Zotac Cups that are also on Sunday. Right.
So that might be the reason. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing though, because I would have liked to see Demon in the top 8, you know, playoff bracket. But yeah, I really don't think that Clown is going to be going above Cord, even if he wins that final.
No, you only get 5 points, so unless
Exactly.
Core just forfeits the match.
So in terms of seedings, well, it's not really going to make that much of a difference because I figure seedings are going to be based on the points, and between seed 3 and seed 4, it's really negligible difference in terms of who you get matched up against.
Very
Well, wait a
interesting.
second. It does kind of matter, right? Because if you think
Yeah,
about
it does.
if it
I
is
mean,
a
it's
single
gonna be
elimination,
Rafa
Clown is
versus-
actually going to go up against Walter. Cord is going to go up against 0-4. So it's almost like Clown has. Well, not to say that Walter is a better matchup than 0-4, but I would, between Walter and 0-4, I would prefer playing Walter. Let me just put it that
yeah,
way.
online 0-4 is probably, you know, one of the best in the US. I mean, if he can beat Rafa, he's gonna have no problem with whoever he's playing.
Exactly. But anyway, so before we leave, we do need to talk about exactly when the grand final bracket is going to be. We're actually going to wait till the DreamHack tournament is over because I think Rafa is leaving for it fairly early, and so we're not going to be able to hold the finals until about 3 weeks from now. Now, I don't really have confirmations on the date, but we will keep you updated. Check esreality.com, check cyber-sports.net for any and all updates regarding our tournaments. There is no guarantees, but we might even see DJ Reed coming back to cast the grand finals. That's what happened last time around. The last playQUAKELIVE series, we did that exact same thing. DJ Reed and Slasher ended up casting the grand finals. We might be able to do something like that again, depending on their schedules. So that should be a fun experience, but we will keep you updated about news on when the grand finals is going to be. I also want to throw a huge shout out to our sponsors, twitch.tv and solargamingleague.com. Support them as much as you can. They're one of the few organizations who support Quake Live tournaments in North America. So, you know, that's always good. And do you have any shout outs maybe?
Shout out to all viewers. I mean, no point in streaming if we don't have viewers, so everybody watch. Thanks. CSN for holding the cup. Everybody that participated. It's always nice to see, you know, people playing in the cups. The more activity, the better.
Right. And you know, we're always also looking for feedback. So if you guys have any ideas on tournaments you want to see in the future, you know, if you want to see like TDM or Domination or whatever, if you want to see leagues, we're always looking for feedback. So let us know. The IRC channel for CSN is #CSN.QL on QuakeNet, I believe, or maybe on GameSurge. I'm not entirely sure. Go ahead and check our website out, and you know, you can always find me on USCPM pickup on QuakeNet as well. So let me know what you guys think. And as Nutty Bro said, you know, thanks all you guys for watching, and I want to say thanks to Nutty Bro for jumping on the cast with me. So you know, it's been a fun experience, man.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad you allowed me to come cast. I want to give a shout out to the sandwich. Somebody asked me to give a shout out to the sandwich. Peanut butter, honey, bacon, you know.
Should we make them the unofficial sponsor of all our casts? The peanut butter, bacon, banana, honey sandwich.
Absolutely.
All our.
We got to come up with a cute like acronym.
Do you know what? I'm gonna make one, and hopefully I can get a camera and I can stream live with the sandwich.
Whoever wins the grand final will send you a sandwich. You know what? Next time we'll do a drawing. One lucky viewer gets a sandwich sent to them. How's that? So you guys got something to look forward to. But yeah, man, it's been cool to cast. It's been a long time since I've done something like this. I'm glad you had me on.
To be honest, it was a smooth experience, I have to say. I mean, considering the fact that we're streaming together for the first time, I think it worked perfectly. Because typically it takes me 2 or 3 times before I can get used to the pace, you know? Because otherwise you end up like, you know, both players trying to talk at the same time a lot of the times or something like that. So it was a fairly smooth experience. Hopefully we can have you on for the grand finals as well as other future casts.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right, so I think that's going to be that in terms of our presentation of the Cyber Sports Network playQUAKELIVE Points Cup number 4. Don't forget, we are going to give you news about the grand finals, the final bracket. I think it's a bracket of the top 8 players, or it might be top 6. I'm hoping that it's top 8, maybe even more, actually.
Yeah, top 13. Let's do it.
Top 13, just so Nutty Bro can play. But yeah,
That's right.
we'll leave the CSN admins to decide all that and figure out all the logistical details. And we will, in fact, be coming back at you with the finals brackets pretty soon. Meanwhile, don't forget that the DreamHack tournament is coming up in exactly 2 weeks, I believe. So do follow the tournament and support QuakeLive events around the world. So thanks for joining us. And from myself, Wonko from NativeRadio.com, from Nutty Bro, and from everyone at the Cybersports Network crew, I'm going to say good night and sign off. See you later, everyone.